Hello and welcome to IP Study Video Lectures. Today we will discuss the 7th chapter of Grade 8 English Grammar, and our topic is Finite and Non-finite Verbs. Well, these two terms may sound a bit technical, but actually they are very simple. Finite verbs are those action words that show tense. They also agree with the subject in the sentence. For example, she reads daily. That means the verb reads is also related to the subject who we are talking to in the sentence, and there is a tense as well. Whereas non-finite verbs are those verbs that do not show the tense, and they are usually formed by adding to along with the base verb. For example, she likes to read. Now let's study both these terms in detail. Before the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the difference between finite and infinite verbs, identify finite verbs in sentences, differentiate between three kinds of non-finite verbs: infinitives, participles, and gerunds. Apply non-finite verbs in sentences. Before we deep dive further, let's look at the following example. Have you sent the email? No, I'm about to write it now. So the verbs sent, to write, they are both non-finite and finite verbs. Let's read some more examples of finite verbs and understand them in depth. They studied for 2 hours. She runs every morning in the park. He has played many sports. She likes her sister very much. In all these 4 sentences, we observe that there are different tenses used for each verb. Study becomes studied, run runs, play has played, like likes. Because these verbs were dependent on the subject. When is the action happening? Who we are talking about? So all of these are dependent factors to form these kind of verbs. Therefore, finite verbs helps us to express the tense and the mood of the sentence as well. A finite verb is a verb that agrees with the subject and represent the tense, mood, number, and person as well. They can be the predicates of sentences by themselves. Sentences cannot be formed without finite verbs. Also, they change with the number and person of the subject in a sentence. Well, we have studied this in lesson 1, sentences as well, that a sentence, in order to have a complete meaning, it must have a finite verb. Therefore, finite verb is needed to complete a sentence. And they also change with the number and the person of the subject in the sentence. Why is that so? Very good, because they agree with the subject and they help us to express the mood, number, and tense in the sentence. But modal auxiliaries, which are also finite verbs, do not change with the number and person of the subject. For example, can, may, all of these auxiliaries, they do not change with the number of the subject. For example, she can dance, we can dance. In both the cases, in singular or plural, can remain the same. Now let's understand non-finite verbs in detail. What are non-finite verbs? Non-finite verbs are those actions which do not show the tense. Sometimes, or we can say often, these verbs becomes the adjectives or nouns in the sentences. Let's look at some examples. She brought rice in a broken plate. She likes to dance. Jogging is beneficial for the human body. Now, often these type of sentences are formed by adding to with the base verb. Sometimes to is not added and we use them or they function as a noun or an adjective in the sentence. Like this one, broken plate. Here, the non-finite verb broken is describing the plate. Jogging is beneficial for human body. Here, the verb jogging is describing what is beneficial for the human body. A non-finite verb is a verb that does not agree with the subject or represent any specific tense, mood, number, or person. These non-finite verbs do not perform the role of the verbs. They function as nouns or adjectives. They do not change with the number and the person of the subject. They also don't express tense. The tense in a sentence is expressed by the finite verbs. So, the tenses are expressed by the finite verbs, but the non-finite verbs are used or they function as nouns and adjectives more. There are three kinds of non-finite verbs: the infinitive, the participle, and the gerunds. The infinitives are those verbs which are formed by adding to with the base verb. The participles are formed by adding ing form of the verb and the past participle. The gerund is formed by adding ing form of the verb. For example, she chose to go by train. He managed to get a job in the big company. To find problems is very easy. His job is to repair furniture. Now, what do you think these sentences are of which kind of non-finite verbs? Very good. They are infinitives. The verbs such as to go, to get, to find, to repair are called infinitives. Although they are verbs, we have used them here as nouns. In sentence A and B, to go and to get are the objects of the finite verbs. For example, she chose to go by train. He managed to get a job in the company. Here, to go and to get are the non-finite verbs. Which are finite verbs in these sentences? Very good. Choose and managed are the finite verbs. As we have already discussed, that a sentence cannot be formed without a finite verb. But along with the finite verb, we use the infinite verbs as well. And when we use the base verb along with to, it is the example of the infinitive. In the sentence C, to find is the subject of the verb is. To find problems is very easy. Now, what is very easy? To find problems. So, here the infinitives are acting as subjects. In the sentence D, the infinitive to repair is a complement. His job is to do what? Is to repair the furniture. The infinitive performs the role of a noun. It can be the subject or the object of a verb. It can also be used as a complement of a verb or an object. The infinitive without to. What are they called? They are called bare infinitives. After certain verbs, the infinitive without to is used. For example, some of them are bid, let, hear, make, watch, see, dare, etc. All of these actions, when they are used without to, they are called bare infinitives. So these actions such as bid, let, hear, make, see, think, come, they can be used without to and they are called bare infinitives. For example, don't let the children play near the well. I saw tears come to her eyes. How do you think this appliance works? Did you ever hear me say so? So here we have used the infinitives without to. We also use the infinitive without to after had better and would rather. For example, you had better save that research for later. I would rather sit in the shade. So with the verbs like had better and would rather, in those scenarios also we use the infinitive without to. Now let's study about the participle. What is the participle? Let's read some few examples to understand them in detail. She sat on a broken chair. The dying man cried for mercy. The wounded woman was taken inside the ambulance. We saw an interesting film. All of these highlighted words in the sentences above are participles. A participle is a word which is formed from a verb and which takes the nature of both as a verb and an adjective. For example, let's look at these sentences again. She sat on a what kind of a chair? Very good. Broken. So here broken is acting as an adjective. The dying man cried for mercy. Now here the word dying is expressed as the condition of the man. Exactly. So that becomes the adjective or the present participle form of the verb. What is happening to the man right now? He is dying. The wounded woman was taken inside the ambulance. Now this is describing the woman. That means wounded is used as an adjective as well. And what kind of participle is it? It is a past participle. We saw an interesting film. Again, it is used as an adjective of film. The words broken and wounded are past participles of the verbs break and wound. In these sentences, these participles perform the role of adjectives. They're also called verbal adjectives. So all of these four verbs were describing someone or few things like a broken chair, dying man, wounded woman, interesting film. So all of these were acting as adjectives. Some of them were examples of past participle and some of them were examples of present participle. All of these adjectives are also called verbal adjectives. Now let's study the third type of infinite verbs. What is that? Very good. That is the gerund. Gliding is an adrenaline sport. She enjoys boating. She has the habit of delaying her work. Did you notice something in all of these verbs? Very good. They're all formed with ing form of the verb. Well, they are called gerunds. Highlighted words in the sentences above are gerunds. They are used here as nouns. In sentence A, gliding is the subject. In sentence B, boating is the very good object. Boating is the object of the verb enjoys. When present participles are used as nouns, they are called gerunds. They are also called verbal nouns. So that is a major difference between the participle and the gerund. What is that? In the participle, the verbs are used as adjectives, whereas in the gerund, they are used as nouns. Participles are also called verbal adjectives. Gerunds are also called verbal nouns. In the participles, we use the form of past participle and the present participle. In the gerunds, we use the ing form of verbs. Well, that was all about finite and infinite verbs. Finite verbs are those verbs that show tenses, expresses the mood, number, and they agrees with the subject in the sentence. Whereas non-finites are those verbs which do not show the tense. They also don't express any mood in the sentence. They can also be used as the subjects. They can also be used as the predicate in the sentence. So that was all about finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs are those verbs which shows tenses. They expresses modes and numbers in the sentence. They also agrees with the subject. Whereas non-finite verbs are those verbs which do not show a tense or do not express a mood. There are three types of non-finite verbs: the participle, the gerunds and the infinitives. The participles are also called the verbal adjectives because they act as an adjective in the sentence. The gerunds are also called verbal nouns because they are expressed as nouns in the sentence. Thank you so much for being there with us, and we will see you in our next video lecture. Thank you.